What's up, everybody out there? This is your boy Dev from War Room Sports. Just want to invite you to listen to episode number 188 of our podcast, The War Room. In this episode, we talked about a lot of social issues, but before we jumped into that, we talked about Derek Jeter and his upcoming retirement, All-Star Weekend. We gave our predictions on all the events and the contests of All-Star Weekend. We talked about MJ being a daddy again. We talked about the Winter Olympics and all the Sochi problems out there. Hashtag Sochi problems. And most importantly, like I said, we talked about some social issues, the Marcus Smart situation with him shoving the fan and the 3-game suspension he got. And we talked about whether or not the NFL was ready for an openly gay player. All this on the back of the Michael Sam situation from Missouri. So like we said, man, just sit back, relax. Welcome to the War Room, episode 188. Take a listen. Leave some comments in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe to the page so you know every time we drop a video. Peace.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sort of like the rebels when it's game time. They like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th saw the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
Dreaming about beaver shots. What up, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports. I'm Devin McMillan. I'm joined by the Blueprint, Jimmy Williams, and the HBC, B. Austin. The sports week was once again led by social issues, so we're going to tackle them, no pun intended. But before we do that, we got some While You On the Grind, some birthdays, NBA All-Star Weekend talk, and a whole lot more. So make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports so you can join in the conversations. You can also call us directly when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline at 323-410-0012. During the week, make sure you guys take some time to hear more great sports talk from some of our partners. Also some of these shows will be on our upcoming War Room Sports radio/podcast network that we will be launching in a matter of months. But make sure you check out Roy and Chris on the Broad Street line every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Blog Talk Radio. And check out our boy Brandon Pemberton of Sports Trap Radio every Thursday afternoon from noon to 2 Eastern Time on Blog Talk Radio as well. But in addition, don't forget to catch us in syndication 3 times on Fridays on NewVibeRadio.com at 7 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Sundays and Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on FatsRadio.com. So not only, are we launching our own network, but we're still going to be on several networks all around the country. So you can't miss us. We're going to be everywhere. Fellas, Snowmageddon is here, and it keeps smacking us in the mouth, man.
First off,
y'all dug out
man, shout to y'all good brothers, man. I just thank God that Jonathan Martin isn't on the team because if he released our text messages or our conversations off the air, we will all be going to hell. We all be going to hell right now.
I swear, Jimmy, I swear on everything that was exactly what I was just about to say, and that's again my cliche, my personal cliche. If you don't go first on War Room Sports, we do too much stuff together. The good bars is gonna come out. Now I gotta go do a rewrite because I was gonna say, I definitely don't want to go down the Jonathan Martin route with our conversations, man. Because I'm gonna tell you something. They would put us with Pappy Mason and Supreme.
Oh man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm in tears.
Y'all have no idea what we were talking about literally 5 seconds before we got on the air. Y'all might have heard us laughing as the theme song kicked in, but these dudes are crazy.
For real.
Yo, shout out to
Martin
Martin Luther King. Shout out to Coretta Scott. Rest in peace. Shout out to Al Malik.
Rest in power. Rest in power.
Shabazz,
Martin,
man.
El Hajj Malik Al-Shabazz, Martin Luther King, Coretta Scott King, yo, Betty Shabazz, man.
And all the
power,
ladies,
man.
and all the ladies that love them, man. Shout out to y'all.
Yo, no doubt, man. And this is Black History Month, man. So shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. Anyway, let's just keep it moving.
Shout out to
everybody.
All the moles, the groundhog, the beavers everywhere. Shout out to all those little.
Wow. Shout out to
animals.
the yam farms. Shout out to
all
the
right,
yam
man.
farms.
That's all the shout out
right now.
that we're gonna give right now.
Let's go on topic. Let's go on topic, man.
All right, well, Jimmy,
let's
tell
talk
everybody
about
what happened.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Tell them about what happened this week while they were on the
Talk
grind.
about
All right, what happened while you were on the grind this week is brought to you by DirecTV. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including the NFL Sunday Ticket, go right to our website at warroomsports.com. Click on the DirecTV logo, and in my best Master P voice, get the hookup, because we got the hookup. Get DirecTV at a discounted rate. And, by the time next time football season starts, you can start watching that Red Zone channel and watch the actual games. And then you can have conversations with us about football and know what you're talking about instead of just watching highlights and thinking you know what you're talking about.
No, he's still not going to know.
Yeah, anyway, shout out to the sponsor, DirecTV, of While You Were on the Grind. Couple topics, yo. Everybody knows about the Alabama and Auburn rivalry there is. But a Bama commit who's from Auburn is getting all kinds of backlash in his hometown from choosing his school, which he committed to Alabama, but Auburn wanted him as well. What do you guys think about this, and just in general, in terms of the kind of backlash that students get for choosing their colleges? This isn't the first time it happened, and it happens a lot between these schools. But this guy, go ahead, Dad.
The recruit's name is Rashawn Evans. Like you said, he's from Auburn. He actually went to Auburn High. He's a linebacker. He was like the 52 overall recruit in the ESPN 300, and the number 2 outside linebacker. So it's just a couple of tidbits about the dude. He says that it's getting so bad in his hometown that someone actually put out an article about his family's business, telling all Auburn fans not to go there. He was like, we're going to eventually start losing money, and people are also telling restaurants around town not to serve him and his family. Is it ever that serious, Biles? Ever?
Yo, I'm on one hand, I'm not shocked or surprised, but I am a little flabbergasted for the young man, because one of the things that he goes a little further on into the story is that this isn't like kids. And obviously when we start talking about media and restaurants, we know it's not, but there are like grown men in their 40s and 50s that are engaged in this behavior. Like, you got people that will stop him on the street and make pleas and, like, just say, why? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to us? It's really going too far. It's too far.
This story,
as
well as some of the stories that we're going to talk about later.
Wait, hold on, Jimmy. But listen to his response. His response is always, look, it's not personal. I just have to do what's best for me and my family. Why is this teenage kid talking to grown people and being a more mature one out of it? Well, go ahead.
You know what, though? Listen, man, that brings up a whole nother topic, man. Yo, to all y'all women out there, I know the fathers get a bad rap for leaving, as they should, but y'all women out there with these single mothers who tell their kids they got to grow up and take care of them, y'all need to cut it out, putting all that pressure on your kids and end up making statements like, I got to take care of my mom. Kids' job is to take care of their parents. Never mind. I don't want to get off on that tangent. But in terms of this story right here, right, this is ridiculous, yo. And this story, as well as some of the other stories we'll talk about on the course of this show, are, I don't understand these adults who have these allegiances to these colleges, especially if they didn't go there. And you talk about fanatics at the professional level. Yo, it seems to me that fanatics on the collegiate level are 10 times worse. This is like Friday Night Lights on steroids. It's out of control. Like, I just don't get it.
Jim, this dude said he has people on Instagram telling him they hope he tears his ACL in game 1.
Yeah.
Like, why is it that serious?
I mean, you could do that once they get to the professional level, but at the college level, you can't do that, yo.
Man. It's bad. I've read the article and some of the stories, like, coming out, And his family is really they're going through it based on his choice. Which for me, the funny thing is, if I were him, just knowing how my mind operates, that would push me further and further and further away from Auburn anyway. Like, I'm not now going to change my mind because you people are acting like ignoramuses. You know, I might not even go to any school in the SEC if this is how you got it.
Yo,
like,
he
crazy,
said, man. He said people are actually going to the board at his school trying to get him in trouble, like trying to say like he's a bad kid and, you know, you need to watch out for him and this and that. Like, people are really taking this a little too far. And like you guys said, I mean, first of all, it's sports. You know what I mean? So we always talk about how serious
and the whole
a lot of people get about sports. And then
community.
It's collegiate sports. This is an 18-year-old kid that we're talking about here, and you're going to give him this much backlash because he chose, you know, to go to the school that he wanted to go to. Like, I don't know.
The entire community is JoJo award eligible.
This is JoJo award eligible. Let me say something real quick. I just don't understand this, man. Like, you're wishing harm amongst them. I mean, only person I've ever wished harm to was like Raiders fans and Chiefs fans. Other than that, yo, this guy is a college. How do they say it? He's a student athlete. Like, you can't. Yeah, we know that's a joke. He's a student athlete, and you're wishing these things on him. Yo, speaking of student athletes, yo, I was watching a classic game the other day with AI at Georgetown, and you're saying, what does this got to do with anything? I just want to ask you guys, do you think he really went to class?
No, I know for a fact he didn't.
Yeah, I know that has nothing to do with the story.
Yeah,
that has nothing to do with the story, but I was thinking about it because Georgetown is a good school for all intents and purposes. Georgetown is a good school.
It's a great school.
And I'm sitting there thinking about, we know AI. We know AI, and as great as a school as Georgetown is, did he really go to class and write papers, yo?
But Jimmy, but listen though, man. I mean, he's the star player at the school, and y'all talking about classes. Classes, man. How silly is that?
Not
classes.
Not a game. Not a game.
Shout out to Bubba Chuck, who will have his number retired here in Philly. He has nothing to do with the story. Back to the town turning on this young man for that town, and people are boycotting his family business. We have to nominate you for the JoJo.
No doubt. Everybody in the Auburn area. Shout out to my man Skyview. Shout out to my man Skyview in the chat room. He, everybody in the Auburn area just need to huddle for real. They should have huddled. They tripped.
Yeah.
All right.
He said they can't complain about the local school not recruiting. How about taking out it on Auburn that they weren't able to land him? I mean, you got a guy from your area, who goes to Auburn High.
Yeah, I hear that from
you. Yeah, so like, why the school? What about taking responsibility, yo?
Clowns.
Yo, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, man, let's move on to the next story because there are a lot of stories to get to this evening. Next story. Terrell Owens, formerly known as Terrell, but Terrell Owens is getting divorced after 2 weeks. Rumor has it he got married to qualify for a mortgage. I don't know how that is. But that's the rumor. My man T.O. got his mortgage, and now it's like, and now he's going to huddle. But what do you guys think about Terrell still staying in the news, getting divorced after 14 days of marriage?
Yo, I think my man is going to ride. I think my man is going to ride his notoriety out till he can't ride it anymore. And honestly, what else does he have to do? I mean, he's got about 7 kids out of wedlock to about 6 different women. He's still marrying white women who love him. I mean, he's T.O. He's T.O. He's doing sensational commercials, which, by the way, are not true. He's T.O., Dad. What do you got to say
and he's still doing reality shows because he actually wasn't around to speak to TMZ about this whole thing because he was off shooting his new reality show that's coming out in March. Don't even know what the show is going to be about. But his spokesperson spoke up for him saying that T.O. has no problems with money. He's not broke. And, he's insisting that he's going to file divorce papers against her when he gets back into town, because she's saying that she's going to file on him. So now it's one of those high school things like, well, no, she didn't break up with me. I broke up with her. But, yeah, she's a postal worker. So he was trying to get a mortgage on, like, this $2 million house somewhere in California. And I guess his credit score wasn't good enough. So he needed his postal worker wife for the last 2 weeks to help him qualify for this loan. This is allegedly. I hope T.O. man. See, but his
out of control.
His reps are, they're just harping on the fact that he's not, if it's a fact, they're harping on the notion that he's not broke. So he didn't need her to do this, so the story is BS. But having a couple dollars and having good credit are two different things. You know what I'm saying? You might have to, because they're talking about, well, he's the primary on the loan. Okay, he can be the primary on the loan because he got the money, but he still need that A1 credit from Becky to do what he got to do as far as getting out.
I like to explain. I like to take the time, real quick, 30 seconds, to explain what being not broke is to T.O.'s reps. When you're not really broke with his stature and level of celebrity, you don't even need a mortgage because you just going to buy the $2 million house. Yeah. My credit score is bad. Here, I'm going to put $2 million down cash. Matter of fact, here's 1.7. Give me the house. So the fact that he needs a mortgage means that he's broke.
I mean, my whole thing is, I don't know whether he's broke or not. I could care less. Some people don't like to use their own money. But, he's never in the news for anything good at this point. I heard T.O. in an interview say that now that his football career is officially over, he wants to officially become an action star in Hollywood. That's his new goal. So, I don't know how successful he'll be. I've seen T.O. in the movie, and he definitely needs to go to the Bill Duke School of Acting because his acting chops were Terry Bell. They were like somewhere in between Terrible and Nas. So he needs work on his acting chops. I don't know what's going on in this man's life, man. I wish him the best, man. Definitely one of the best receivers I've ever seen play, although he couldn't catch. So, T.O., man, you need to get together, man.
How amazing are you man. If you one of the best and you couldn't even catch? Come on, T.O.
Yeah, how about that? So shout out to T.O., man. Divorced after 2 weeks trying to get this mortgage, man. I understand, man. I ain't going to knock the hustle.
As Jimmy said that, I had this vision of T.O. running across the middle, making a catch and bobbling the ball. Like, when you're about to drop some egg and you just get your bobble on and you try and hold it strong without cracking the egg. That's what he used to do catching a football.
Yeah, he definitely did.
T.O. did. He didn't really catch the ball. What he did was
dangerous.
Once he got it,
T.O. used to do what you called muscling it in. He didn't really catch the rock. He muscled it in.
Once he got it,
shut up.
You know what I'm saying? He's one of the best after the catch, but it's just a matter of catching it first. Anyway,
he was one of the best. He was one of the best before the catch, getting open. It was just that active catch.
This is true too. So he had, so he could do everything but catch. All right. Anyway, with that being said, speaking of cornballs, let's talk about another cornball. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. His wife gave birth to twin girls. Mike got married, immediately shot the club up, and became a father again. Congrats to Michael Jordan.
Oh,
his twin girls have become part of the Lucky Sperm Club, so shout to them as well, and get their polls ready.
Can you imagine becoming a father, a fresh father again, especially in his situation? I don't know his situation because obviously I'm not in it, but I can only imagine after you have, children. You're 51 years old.
Grown.
Your children are grown. And then, you get remarried and you marry somebody so young that she wants children as well, plus she needs some kind of insurance policy if this whole thing doesn't work out. So you're 51 years old and you have brand new newborns. That has to be a little difficult. I mean, but he is Michael Jordan. He probably doesn't have to do much.
It's difficult.
It's
difficult when we think about it. Mike got money longer than Broad Street, so he'll be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.
Will Michael Jordan be the Michael Jordan of diaper changing?
No. He probably won't.
Are you talking
change
about
one.
his basketball game or his team ownership skills?
Basketball, definitely not.
Jimmy, I'm 0 for 3 on Skyhook show. Insider.
Yeah. By the way, what Dev is talking about, we had this discussion about Kareem and the skyhook and how difficult it is to shoot the skyhook. So now, during the course of every show, Dev balls up paper and shoots skyhooks to see if he can make them. So far, he hasn't made one yet.
It's the most taken for granted shot in the history of sports because it's he made it look easy, so people got tired of seeing it. That shot is very, very difficult. It's very.
Hey, B. Austin, man. Yo, the boy Dev be making up like random things like he's the best east-west route runner. It's the most taken for granted shot. All right, here's my thing, right? If that's the most taken for granted shot, what's number 2 on that list?
Trying to start sports
fadeaway,
man.
Fadeaway.
People, on my Stu Scott joint. Booyah.
Yeah. Yo, hold up. So number 2 is the fadeaway? I don't think the fadeaway is taken for granted, man.
Yo,
I don't think about the fadeaway. Anything about the fadeaway? Back in the day, coming up, cats didn't shoot the fadeaway till they got older. Now you got young cats coming in trying to shoot a fadeaway at like 19. Like the fadeaway used to be the old head shot.
But
nobody's shooting. Nobody's shooting sweeping hooks.
Fadeaways are cool. I'm just going to keep it real right now, and we going totally away from the fundamentals of basketball and really probably even intelligence with my next statement. But like a fadeaway is cool, so I'm probably off with that. But a skyhook isn't cool. Like if I had to depend my basketball career on making skyhooks, and I was the best skyhook maker, I probably really wouldn't have enjoyed basketball because you can't hit a skyhook and then turn and look at a chick on the sideline and say, yeah.
I think you can though. I think a skyhook is something. If you hitting skyhook after skyhook on people, just looking at them dirty and disrespecting them, you're making the game look very easy. You're making people look like they're not on your level. I'm just going to keep hitting this little shot where I'm barely looking at the basket. It's going over my head. I think it's cool. I think it didn't become cool in basketball circles, younger circles, because they couldn't do it. Nothing's cool if you're bricking it off.
Yeah, that's another point. All right, so where do you guys put the floater? Where's the floater? Where's the floater
with
rank
a bunch
at?
of
Is the floater a difficult shot?
I'm just throwing it over there. I think floater is difficult.
I have a qualifier for that though. If you're under 6'5", you're allowed to shoot floaters. If you're over 6'5", then you probably deserve to be with Sam Jr. Like you're a
so
Sam.
So we're gonna call
that
the Antoine Jamison rule. That's the Antoine
Jamison. Like Antoine Jamison, somebody should have gave him a rumble because you're like, you're 6'9", dude. You can't shoot floaters. You're not allowed.
His whole game was finesse, though.
But he on a low. Antoine Jamison has like he's like a compiler. He's compiling numbers over a long period of time on a low, like
he is.
And all from floaters. He's like a 6'8" floater.
I agree with you, B. Austin. I agree with you on the Jamison rule. But I don't agree with you with the skyhook because if I'm skyhooking a dude to death, I'm looking to the sideline every time. Like, I'm playing with this dude. He can't guard me.
We are
how disrespectful is that? No doubt. But how disrespectful?
We were talking about Michael Jordan. Having twins, and now we're off on what's the most difficult shot.
Talking about Michael Jordan doing drive-bys at 50-51.
And this has nothing to do with the Michael Jordan story, but Michael Jordan might be the worst-dressed athlete in the history of sports. And I'm only saying that because we can't talk about Michael Jordan without acknowledging his sartorial failures. So let's move on to the next story. But, Mike, your gear is weak. All right.
Word.
Last story that happened while you were on the grind. Let's talk about one of B. Austin's favorite all-time National Football League players, one Ed Reed. Now, Ed Reed went to the bank to make a withdrawal of $50K. I mean, we don't know why. Maybe he was, going to have one of those Wolf of Wall Street parties with a bunch of, women who practice the world's oldest profession. Or maybe he wasn't.
He's supposed to be transferring.
He left the bag of 50. Well, here's the thing. Here's why I don't understand the story. He's supposed to be transferring it to another bank, they say, but he went into the bank and left the bag of $50K in the passenger seat. So if you're transferring the money, why are you going?
I know what was going on, and Jimmy is very close. So let me know when you want me to speculate.
Okay. Well, now this happened in Houston. I don't know whether he's having a party, whether he was going to buy some lean, whether he was
Wait, don't speculate yet, because I don't have a speculation. I'm just going to speak on it real quick, and then you can tell us what.
Well, he was getting his Jamal Lewis on. We don't know what he was doing. Whether he's doing his Jamal Lewis, whether he was buying some lean, whether he was, getting with some Myras. But at the end of the day, he left $50K. He left $50K in his passenger seat. Went into another bank, possibly to bring out more bread. When he came back to the car, the $50K was gone. So he lost $50,000 that he left in his front seat, yo. So my question to you, I know B. Austin has a story he wants to paint for us about this.
Yeah, I just want to speak on it. B. Austin knows what happened. I don't know what happened. I'm just speaking on it.
Yeah,
this is what he told the authorities. He said he went into the second bank. He was supposed to deposit that money into that second bank, but he forgot the money, came back to the car, and it was already gone. That's what I'm saying. I mean, all right, put it this way. This is feasible. Like, I've gotten out of the car to go into a bank and make a deposit of like $100 and maybe forgot it. Like, oh man, I left the money in the car. But come on, $50,000, like that's all right. Is he that rich? That $50,000, you're just gonna get out the car and leave that sitting in your seat? Because think about it, $50,000 is not like pocket money. Like I can forget the $100 because I may have thought it was in my pocket, but it was really in the ashtray or something. But $50,000 was never in your pocket. So how do you get out of the car and forget $50,000? So like Jimmy said, who knows what he was really going into the bank to do?
Listen, and for the people out there who are thinking like, well, $50,000 is nothing to him. $50,000 is a lot of money. Like last time I had $50,000 in my pockets, I realized that you have to carry a bag to have it. You know what I'm saying? No, not that I ever had $50,000. But anyway, my point is this story is out of control. I see a lot of things. Before B. Austin says something, I see a lot of things that could have possibly happened. He could have been getting his Jamal Lewis on. This could be some insurance type thing. We don't know what's going on with it, but the story is out of control. What he told the authorities, I just don't know whether I believe that or not. I know B. Austin wants to talk on it. He wants to speak on it. But in my opinion, this whole story is... Go ahead, B. Austin.
Well, the first thing I want to say is that I do believe that dark-skinned Jermaine, Zach Randolph, Derek Coleman, Ed Reed, and Jamal Lewis were all getting money together. And with his retirement from the NFL, and if y'all don't know what getting money is, don't ever come to the hood. You wouldn't understand the hood. Stay the heck out of the hood. So with his retirement, his main source of seed money for his getting money enterprise is kind of going away. So I think Ed is transitioning out, and he called his homie Bryant McKinney from his Baltimore days, and they were headed out to V Live. If y'all don't know what V Live is, y'all figure it out. Or the Men's Club, Treasures, Ritz, Glamour Girls, Centerfolds. I'm not sure which one of these lovely establishments to sit down and kind of take in the ladies of the evening. Because, that's what goes on. Houston and Miami are two places where it goes down at. King of Diamonds, shout out to them, that's Miami. But, Houston has its own little culture there. So he was headed to his retirement party, dual retirement. So he retiring from getting money and retiring from playing football. And, see, this is the part of the story that will make sense. Someone peeped that action because, Ed was slipping. They peeped that action coming out of the bank. They said, ain't that dirty Ed Reed? And they was like, yo, I know Ed slides around in an old-ass Audi. Yo, that bag, I got to take that chance that that's a bag of money. So they followed him to the next bank. And when he was slipping, they, made their way up to the wheel and took his pile of 5, 10s, and 20s.
I think I might believe you a little bit because he was in a little Ducky Boy car. So I mean, it's possible that Ed Reed. Because first off, you don't even play for Houston no more. Why are you in Houston? You know what I'm saying? I understand you played from the beginning of the season, but
he finished out with the Jets.
You played for the Jets at the end of the season, and you were in Baltimore for over a decade. So I'm pretty sure that's probably where you lay your head. But he's down there for a reason, man. So shout out to Ed Reed because we already know what you is, good brother.
I go by the name of Pharrell from the Neptunes, and I just want to let y'all know I'm your pusher. The world is about to feel something that they never felt before. Come on. From ghetto to ghetto, the backyard to
And the car was registered.
And that's the
in
thing, yo.
Well,
yo, man. Ed Reed. Last thing I want to say about Ed Reed, man. Shout out to Ed Reed, man. Legend in 2 games like Pee Wee Kirkland, man. Yo, let's just move on, man. Stop snitching, B. Austin. Yo, Dev, tell everybody who's having a birthday.
All right, everybody. Birthdays, as usual, brought to you by Dr. Monique Roll of Alexandria Podiatry Associates. For the best and comprehensive treatment to injuries of the foot, ankle, and lower extremities, visit Dr. Monique Roll of Alexandria Podiatry Associates, treating patients in the D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area and beyond. Just visit alexandriapodiatry.org or call 703-379-0700. But when you dial that number, 703-379-0700, make sure you tell them that War Room Sports sent you.
Birthday.
All right. We spoke about T.O. earlier. Probably his biggest counterpart and during his time in the NFL, one Mr. Randy Moss, straight cash, homie, turns 37 today. So shout out to Randy Moss. Charlie Garner used to be one of my favorite running backs. Not that he was one of the best running backs, but yeah, he was nice for his level, who he was. I think he was an overachiever in the NFL. And he
didn't feel pain from smoking all that ganja.
Yeah. Plus, I met the dude a couple of times. He was a cool dude. So shout out to Charlie Garner on his 42nd birthday. Shout out to Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski. He turned 67 today. I don't know how you pronounce his name like that, which way that it's spelled. You know, Coach K's name is spelled K-R-Z-Y-Z-E-W-S-K-I. How the hell does that mean, Krzyzewski?
It means Kujijuski.
Right. And we want to send a happy birthday, rest in peace shout out to the great Eddie Robinson, former coach of the Grambling Tigers football program. He was born February 13th, 1919, and he passed on April 3rd, 2007. So those are your birthday shout outs. I'm going to let everybody know how y'all can get in touch with us real quick. Somebody get their screen team on. All right. So happy birthday to all of those cats. But y'all know y'all can check out our website, warroomsports.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the War Report. That's our weekly newsletter. Click on the Contact Us tab to send us a message about the company, the show, to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities. If you are a radio host and you are looking for expansion, make sure you get with us at info@warroomsports.com about our upcoming launch of the War Room Sports Radio and Podcast Network. While you're browsing the site, click on the Memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click on the Blog tab to read our latest sports articles in the All's Fair and Sports and War blog. Then click the respective icons to like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our iTunes podcast, download our free War Room Sports mobile app. You got to do that. And to watch our videos at warroomsportstv.com. Join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio if you don't want to do that. You can sign in from your Facebook or Twitter accounts, and while you're at it, just click follow so you can get updates and reminders about the show every week. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. But to call in and speak with us, you can dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline, which is open right now at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted, and if you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. And we got somebody waiting on the Digital Extreme Tech hotline right now, so we're going to go to the homie Jonathan. Jonathan, what's up, man? You in the War Room. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, family? How's everyone doing?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
All right, man.
Oh, surviving, right? I got a question.
How you making out that snow, good brother?
Oh, I was doing okay. I'm sitting back up here watching First Take this morning, and I have a question to ask all questions. Mm-hmm. What the hell was LeBron James smoking?
What with his the Mount Rushmore comment or what? Which one are you talking about?
Dude, not just that, but all of a sudden he has an obsession with Kevin Durant. The rumors are going on about him leaving, not happy. Or someone not happy in Miami. I mean, what's going on down there at Team LeBron?
Well, you gotta understand LeBron's psyche. LeBron doesn't really come from. He's not cut from the competitive cloth of yesteryear, what you may be used to in your basketball stars kind of wanting to kill each other on the court. LeBron wants a supportive, nurturing environment where he's good, everybody around him is good, and they have an opportunity to win chips, but not so much because winning chips is the pinnacle and end-all, be-all, but that increases their brand strength, and he's able to walk around on the top of the world. So with Dwayne Wade's declining health and needs, Christina Bosh really not Christina Bosh really not, old enough her end of the bargain, and the team not really being, not being what he expected. He's planning his exit strategy to put himself as the best player in the world, because he is the best player in the world. But he's planning the exit strategy to place himself in another super team good situation. So you'll see LeBron surface with another one or two superstars here pretty soon. That's the exit strategy.
Where is he headed?
Jimmy would like him to go to L.A. Dev would like him to go to the Sixers. I can't see him and Kobe working together.
Sixers don't have any stars for him to team up with, so my dream.
Yeah, I don't see him and Kobe getting along.
Ho! The Sixers have Spencer Hawes, buddy.
So true. Right.
Dev is disrespectful.
Top 5 center in the world.
I just don't.
You don't see him and Kobe getting along.
No, I don't see him getting along. Kobe's going to have to give up. He's going to have to give up some of that ball, the ball.
Kobe's going to have to soon give up on the game. Like, Kobe can't even walk. Kobe's going to be playing basketball like Dr. Xavier next year in a wheelchair.
I mean, I hate to say that because, see, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a fan of Kobe. Now, I'm
a big fan of Kobe.
And all the other stuff. His time has passed. I'll admit to that. But I just don't see Kobe Bryant and LeBron James working out. The only way he's going to work out in L.A. is, and I hate to say this because I am a Lakers fan, they're going to have to cut ties with Kobe. And I don't see it happening when they just signed him that big contract.
Oh, yeah, I'm about to say it's too late now with the contract they just signed him to because nobody's going to take that on in the trade. So, no, I'm
I don't know. Mike is always out there. Michael Jordan is always out there. Michael Jordan is always out there, so there's always a possibility Kobe can go play with his hero in Charlotte, and Melo and LeBron come to L.A.
Michael needs to sell the team.
Kobe, I think with his years and with his years and his health dwindling down, I think it's possible that Kobe would welcome somebody in there that can take some of his shine away. I mean, he's a god in L.A. Those people they absolutely adore him. So, I mean, there's not much left to prove on that end. So I think it could possibly work on the short term. He's no longer the Kobe in his prime that wants to wrestle the team away from Shaq because I don't know, his legs telling him that now. You might not have to.
Well, but Kobe's still Kobe. I mean, here's the thing about it. It's sort of like B. Austin always talks about. Kobe is one of these guys who's cut from a cloth where he has extreme confidence to the point where it's kind of delusional. So he probably won't even want him on a team. He probably won't welcome it, and even if he did welcome it, he's not giving the reins up. Like he's an alpha male to the fullest, which is why the whole Shaq thing.
That's the way of this thing of ours. That's the way of the game. You got to come take it.
I got a question for y'all. You just said it right what I was thinking. When Jordan was 30 whatever years old, and his last, we're not gonna count the Wizard years, okay? That was just
36.
Bullshit.
I like how Mike fans like to just forget that whole thing. Like that didn't happen.
Just forget it, move on. He did that obviously because he was just trying to get something out of, get something going. But his last few years of the Bulls, he didn't give up. Jordan still dominated. Right or wrong. He never let Scottie Pippen take it over. He never let it. The Bulls never even went and tried to get any young talent. They went and got Dennis Rodman's last 3 years, which will work out fine.
Well, first of all, Scottie Pippen was never interested in taking it over. So as long as Mike was on that team that they all built together, then nobody really had a choice. You weren't going to, unseat Mike on the team that everybody came up on together. I mean, this would be a different
type of situation. And that's what I'm saying about Kobe. There's no way Kobe is going to let LeBron James come over there and take his throne. No way.
Nike would never allow anybody to take Mike's throne. I mean, Bison Dele tried to take Mike's throne. You saw what Nike did to him. Anyway, I'm sorry, but
sorry, man.
Oh, you gotta understand, brother. This man supports Magic. This man supports Magic and Isaiah to the highest, and what they were about coming out.
What does Isaiah got to do with anything, though? Like, what does Isaiah got to do with anything, man?
He supports what's coming out right now in society, and they set the tone. So he's staunchly against Mike. But that's all
I'm
right.
not against Mike. I'm just saying that wouldn't have happened. But to your point, Jonathan, I don't think it could happen in L.A. for the reasons we just stated. What's going on with LeBron? LeBron is basically he's not trying to go through the decision again, so he's just easing it out there.
Well, I mean, whether we liked it or not, it worked for him, right? He got 2 titles out of it.
Absolutely.
He's making money.
It's coming to the point where he has no more juice for Dwayne Wade. It's coming to that point. So either they get Wade out of there and somebody can replace him and LeBron stay there, or LeBron is leaving. I guess he's figuring if you guys are going to take the sentimental route, because Dwayne Wade, fair enough, he was Miami before LeBron got there. So if they want to take the sentimental route and keep him around on a half a leg, then LeBron's going to have to do what he has to do and go find another superstar.
Right, and LeBron's not afraid to do what he does, right?
It's not about about loyalty with them. It's not about
definitely not.
That. LeBron is trying to become the first billionaire brand athlete, and so championships are a part of, and success even. Championships and success. Let's separate those two things. Those things are essential components of his brand. So for him, when you think about guys like Wilt, guys like Bird, guys like even to a lesser degree Magic, definitely Mike, they were obsessed with the game. They were obsessed with winning. They were obsessed with winning. I think LeBron likes to win. I think LeBron works hard. But basketball is not the end-all, be-all. It's just the greatest vehicle for him to attain his end goals. So competitive greatness for him, I'll partner with whatever superstar is out there that can keep us in a position where our brands are both moving in the same direction. So he got a role. He's not going to sit still in Miami, and wait while they rebuild. He's packing up and moving on.
But you know what, Jonathan? And here's my last point about this whole thing is we always talk about how sports is a microcosm of society. And when you read business magazines, you notice the same thing. It's sort of like a cultural difference. You have guys who basically are just employees for hire. They're like hitmen now, whether you're talking about law firms or tech industries. They don't care about being loyal to a company. They go from job to job. There's no such thing as someone working at a company for 20 years no more. It's like, who's going to offer me more money? And I get to work with somebody who's just as smart as I am. I'm going to go over there. Okay, I'm done with them. Who's going to offer me more money? So it's like free agency is permeated throughout society at this point. So it's a complete cultural difference.
Definitely.
Well, I didn't
they don't care.
I'll give this to LeBron's credit, and a lot of people aren't going to agree with me for this statement, but I'm going to say it anyway. When he was with Cleveland, he did get 7 years himself to Cleveland. He did not publicly one time come out and I hate to use this word, but bitch about anything about Cleveland. He just wanted to win.
Well, that's because he's media.
Nobody wanted to go there.
He's media savvy. He's got a pretty good media team, pretty good PR team, pretty good grasp of what public perceptions are, and he's definitely a sensitive guy, so he's in tune with what everyone is saying, generally via social media, and those things he's cognizant of. So what he's saying behind closed doors, we'll never know, but he's not going to make a mistake which tarnishes his good guy image. In fact, that's part of what he worked on with Samsung. He wants to be the darling of society. So he's not going to make a mistake that's going to put him in a bad position with society. He loves his fans.
And plus, he's from Akron, so he can't really come out. He can't really come out and talk greasy when you're from Akron, man. I ain't know they was getting no money in Akron, but he's from Akron.
But he's really got about 4 years left now, 4 or 5 years, and that's it.
And then you talk about in his whole career.
His career? No, LeBron is going to play
he never gets injured, so
he's going to play another decade.
Well,
How old is LeBron?
Hold on. LeBron's what,
29?
30?
I think he just turned 29.
Let's not forget.
You said he got 4 years left?
He was hard.
Nah, B.
He got at least 4 years of eliteness. And when
he just turned 29 in December.
But I understand, but let's not forget. He's been playing an NBA game, which is more rigorous than college, any other form of basketball, since the age of, 18, 17, 18?
Yeah.
He doesn't get hurt, though. He's a freak of nature, though. When have you ever seen LeBron hurt?
Professional basketball.
But he doesn't get injured much, and, the dude is built a little differently.
And here's this.
Players.
Also something else to think about, Jonathan.
Let's look at Kobe. Kobe, what, 34, 35?
Kobe, but Kobe came in a more competitive league. The league stinks right now.
Kobe played professional basketball at 17.
No, but at the same time, even with Kobe, when you look at Kobe's age, even his age and his mileage, Kobe, if it wasn't for the injury, remember, Kobe still averaged, 27, 28 points a game the last time he played a season before he got injured.
What about the other team?
So,
what about the other team? They haven't done anything.
Had he not gotten hurt, then, but injuries will be a part of it once you get older.
Kobe was still playing at an elite level, and also LeBron can lose 30% of what he's doing now and still be one of the top 3 players. The league stinks. So the fact of the matter is, he doesn't he can lead, he can lose. He can lose about 30 to 40% of what he's so far ahead. He's so far ahead of everyone else that so he's going to be elite. Anyway, man. With that being said, Jonathan, man, we appreciate the call, man.
Awesome.
John, thanks for the call, man, because we about to talk hoops anyway. We got a couple more topics to get to, but thanks for the call, man. We appreciate it every time, man.
You
support us,
have
man.
a good evening,
Take
man.
it easy.
All right, you too, man. Stay warm, brother.
All right.
Bro.
Redskins suck.
Let's stay right on basketball, man. Got to give a shout out to our sponsor of this NBA talk, which is Fanatics. If you want to cop some NBA gear or NFL gear, NHL, Major League Baseball, because it's almost baseball season, NCAA gear, MMA gear, some boxing gear, go to Fanatics. Go to our website, warroomsports.com. Click on the Fanatics logo. And maybe you want to cop you a LeBron shirt. He only got 4 years left. Anyway, with that being said, we're going to talk some more about LeBron. Before we do, we got to give a couple shout-outs, which are the shout-outs. Got to hear the soundbite because Curtis Blow sucks as an MC. Before we finish our LeBron talk, like I was saying, let's give some shout-outs to the NBA Players of the Week. Those players are Jared Sullinger, believe it or not, as well as Kevin Durant. Dev, what are their stats for this past week?
Shout out to Curtis Blows. Jared Sullinger helped the Celtics to a 2-1 week. Every time we read this, somebody beat the 76ers. But the 2 wins were over the Sixers and the Kings. He averaged 20.3 points, 12.7 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks. Kevin Durant, are you guys tired of hearing this name? And the Thunder, they went 3-1.
I don't know how many he's won thus far.
I know. Wins over Memphis, Minnesota, and New York. He averaged 31.8 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. He had 2 double-doubles. This is just an every-week thing. So shout out to Jared Sullinger and the weekly winner, Kevin Durant. Nice job, fellas.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. At this point, do you think it's still going to be a tight race between LeBron and Durant for the MVP, or does Durant have it sealed at this point?
No,
I don't think so. But you know what they're going to do?
Decided.
As a consolation, they're going to give LeBron a Defensive Player of the Year. And Jimmy, I think you already know he has that locked up, whether he earns it or not, because he's
that was my prediction. That was my prediction, and the fact that you said that, it makes sense. Or they're going to do something to really
he think he got snubbed. He thinks he got snubbed the last 2 years. So he's already putting that vibe out there that he has to, whether he earns it or not, he's going to get that. And
or they're going to piss us all off and do something I hate that leagues do. They want to make LeBron the co-MVP with Durant. They're going to give co-MVP.
Yeah, MVP race, I don't think that's close this season.
That's what I was asking. Does he even already have this wrapped up? because the way he's playing this entire season is just, it's on another level, man. So shout out to Kevin Durant. But speaking of LeBron, as we just did, and what's going on
by the way, Jim.
Yeah, that's true too. Like, come on, man.
Players of the
yeah, you've been eating long enough now. Stop being greedy. Anyway, man.
Get it to the knee.
Yo, LeBron says that he, by the end of his career, will be on the NBA's Mount Rushmore. He's going to be one of the 4 greatest players to ever play the game of basketball, this thing of ours. So, there's a lot to talk about within that. Right. I'm pretty sure who we already have on our Mount Rushmore is different.
Yeah, I know what before we even talk about whether we think LeBron, what he's saying, could possibly be true, I just want to tell you the guys that he says are already on that mountain. He says the easy 3 are Michael, Magic, and Larry, and then they said after, he was contemplating for a couple of seconds, and then he said Oscar Robertson. So LeBron, his confidence to me is growing, by the minute. I mean, the way he's head and shoulders above everybody else in the league, except for maybe Kevin Durant, this is the kind of confidence that I think he should have shown a long time ago. But he said, quote, I'm going to be on the top 4 that's ever played this game for sure. He said, and if they don't want me to have one of those top 4 spots, they better find another spot on that mountain. Somebody's got to get built. That's not for me to decide. That's for the architect. I dig that kind of stuff.
I love to shoot at LeBron. I love to shoot at him, and I do feel like he might be a little too big for his britches, and he disrespected a couple people. But to be honest, if I'm completely 100, I agree with your sentiment that he should have felt this way about 6 years ago. Like, there's no reason not to approach things with this confidence. There's no reason to care what other people think. But see, the problem that I have is I believe that if people perceived him to be the bad guy, he would be scared to say things like this. So people's public's opinion dictates to him what he's allowed to say. And so now he feels comfortable. He feels like I'm in a great space. I done paid Samsung's marketing department, and they done paid me right back. I got my image up, so I can say stuff like this. But I do feel though he should be talking like this. He definitely should. He disrespected Wilt, and he disrespected Kareem. Magic and Bird can get the F out of there like they don't belong there with Kareem.
I mean, his opinion is his opinion, but I did want to get you guys' take on his 4. And Jimmy, what I noticed is that, there were no big men in his 4.
None at all.
And this is a league that
used
to be, quote unquote, a big man's
guard.
league. Yeah, it used to be a big man's league. This used to be a league dominated by, great centers and great power forwards. So, like, what do you think about that? Do you think that's just, somebody who plays a perimeter position, so the people, of course, that they gravitate to during their, watching the history of the game, do you think it has something to do with that? Or do you think, like Bielsa said, it was just a little disrespectful to a few of the big men out there?
Both. It's both. It's sign of the times and disrespectful. Damn. It's what he grew up with.
Yo, but he did ask me, though. Here's the thing, right? You got to understand that these are all wing players. These are guys that he's been compared to. People have said he's like Oscar Robertson. He's a combination of Magic and Michael. So he's kind of like giving himself a shout-out when naming his 4. And Oscar Robertson definitely is one of the greatest, but this was a league dominated by big men. To prove that point, both points, if you look at the 1960s, like, all MVPs in the 60s were won by either Kareem, Wilt, and it was only one won by a guard, which was Oscar Robertson. All the other 9 were won by, like, Kareem and Wilt. So this league was, like, dominated by big men back then. And
all right, so
everybody's going to have their opinion of who's the best. I mean, ain't no best. In the words of Nasir Jones, man, ain't no best. But
now my thing about a Mount Rushmore, Jim, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
go ahead.
My thing about the whole Mount Rushmore thing, with LeBron, because we posted this on our Facebook page yesterday, and there were a few people who said LeBron is already on the Mount Rushmore of the NBA. Please call in, y'all, because some of y'all promised that y'all would. I got some bars for y'all. But at the same time, I think LeBron, like I always say, like I'm not one of those people. I was a Michael Jordan fan. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest player that I've ever seen. But I'm not one of those people who thinks, okay, because I like Mike that much, nobody's ever going to be able to surpass Mike and this and that. I still think LeBron has the potential because he has, age on his side. He has enough years left to make his case to become the greatest player who's ever played in the NBA. But with that being said, I don't think he's there yet. I definitely don't think he's on the Mount Rushmore of the NBA yet. And I think there are a lot more people that he would have to pass than, people are giving credit to out there. For one thing, we already said, like, my four wouldn't even be his four, but I still think everybody on his four are still in front of him. Like, I would probably take Bird off, not because it's a slight to Bird, because you just only can have four people. I would probably go Michael, Kareem, Magic, and probably Wilt Chamberlain on my four. It's a lot of old heads out there. Oh, you got to have Bill Russell on there. So you still got Bill Russell. You still got Larry Bird. You still got Oscar Robertson. You still got
Bernard.
I mean, you still even have people like Shaq and Kobe that, LeBron's career isn't over yet. So to say already that he's better than, like, overall than Shaq, Kobe, maybe Tim Duncan, and players like that, I think is jumping the gun a little bit. LeBron is definitely one of the best players we've ever seen, skill-wise, what he can do physically, the myriad of tools that he has to use in his game. Yes, but I still think being on the Mount Rushmore means more than just how good you play. Like, you have to build a legacy. It's greatness, not just the best, players. If y'all can understand what I'm saying, the best physically. You still have to do things to build that legacy and become great.
You got to get that resume together. You got to get that resume together. It's sort of like saying you're a smart individual. You're a smart individual, but it doesn't mean that you've achieved greatness because you're smart. You have to put a resume together, in the corporate world. But my point is this,
not
though.
Not just awards,
if I had to
man. You got to have players, that fear factor, and players still talk about you. Like somebody just said Bernard King's name. I mean, he's nowhere near the Mount Rushmore of NBA basketball, so I'm sure that was tongue-in-cheek. But just to hear people talk about him and the respect and the fear factor they have for that dude, it's like, imagine if they were talking. I mean, you see Magic talking about Larry. They were arch rivals, and they give each other blumpkins every time they get on TV.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
He has to get that respect.
Here's my thing, though. If I had to give my Mount Rushmore would be Kareem, Magic, Worthy, and Sad Eye. But no, seriously, though, probably Wilt, Kareem, Magic, and if I had to pick somebody else, I'd probably say Michael.
So that's basically the same one I had.
Yeah. How about that? Damn, I didn't think about that. Yeah. So basically,
for me, I'm thinking like, who the hell else can it be?
Yeah. There are a number of players historically that you have to look at in terms of greatness. You got the Larry Birds. Even a guy like Dr. J. Dr. J gets slighted because of his ABA days. People don't count his ABA numbers, but if you add his ABA numbers to his NBA numbers, Doc
that's
might
just
be top
fans,
five.
though, Jim. When they ask some old players about this, not even old players like that played with Doc, people who are in the league after Doc, maybe come in, while he was about to retire. Those people say him like, history slights him, like you said, but they think that you got to ask somebody like him, so they kind of think. Yeah, they think
George
LeBron
Gervin gets slighted because of the same thing. Yeah, so LeBron. But the thing is, LeBron should have had this confidence. It's a great thing, and I think he does have the ability. He has the time, and he has the league to just rip through to kind of build up his legacy. And that's the thing about, like, sports, which makes sports so beautiful, is because these arguments will continue forever, because there's going to be a next guy coming up. Durant's already on his way. There's going to be a guy right now in high school who will probably be in this argument within the next, 10, 20 years. So that's part of the greatness of sports. He's already making his predictions. But there's like people, who are playing basketball now who will be in this conversation. That's the great thing about sports. But we can't slight the past, because I find that as time goes on, You know, and the further it gets away from people's careers, we start to slide.
Out of mind.
Nike won't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody except for Mike, because the Nike machine will always move for Mike. But other than that, we slight damn near every player that's played. Like Wilt Chamberlain gets disrespected. Kareem doesn't even get mentioned.
If you don't put Wilt on that Mount Rushmore, stupid.
And the only reason Magic stays relevant is because of his success in business. So he kind of like stays out there in the forefront. But everybody gets slighted as time goes on. One day they'll be slighting LeBron and talking about somebody else. So, but we just have to, put things in perspective and always give a shout out to those that have built this thing of ours.
Because of myth. Wilt gets slighted because of
myth.
Yeah. Like, how many times have we had the argument where somebody said Wilt didn't play against, everybody he played against?
Which isn't factual. That's fact.
We got a list of like 30 players, 6'10" and above, that Wilt played with, and about 6 or 7 of them are 7 foot to 7'2". Like, he played with
I just want to make a public service announcement on this show,
like,
on this podcast.
Everybody.
For those who listen to this, I don't care whether you're listening now live or you listen on the podcast now, next week, 10 years.
100 years
stop
from
it
now.
with the Wilt Chamberlain stuff. Like, Wilt played against more big men than Shaq, than Ewing, than Olajuwon. Like, these myths that he played against a bunch of midgets is just ridiculous. Wilt played in one of the most competitive NBAs, which had the most talented big men, a league dominated by big men, and we can give you a list of damn near 30 people who were 6'10" or above.
And he did it slamming 4 pairs of yams a night.
Just ask for it, and we shall paste it wherever you need it, because we got it.
And he was wearing
chucks. Such a myth.
I just want to point out, and I'm not even doing this to be funny, my man knocked down 20,000 women while playing the sport of basketball and dominating. Come on, man. I ain't going to disrespect.
So I just want to say that. But in terms of this whole story, but I mean, LeBron. But you got to understand, like, LeBron's age, and this is what I mean about
your history. Know your history. That's
I mean your history. But there are probably players in the league now who.
Now, I was saying, Jim, it's human nature. Everybody thinks, thinks their era of basketball is the greatest era. So, they think their era is the only era where people actually played basketball. So you forget about everybody in front of you. But if you're going to be,
and it's true because
if you're going to be a part of this thing of ours, know the history of this thing of ours. Seriously.
And that's the thing, like, and maybe we're different. Like, I know I'm like I love the history of the game. Like, one of my things I do now is, like, read the books, and I love the history of the game, so I like to give play. But it happens the same when we talk about, whether we're talking about hip-hop or we're talking about movies. Everybody sucked, according to most people who are not part of, like, their generation. And it's ridiculous, man. Like, just pay homage sometimes, man. You know what I mean? Even though I did slander Curtis Blow, you got to pay homage to the greats, yo.
He wasn't great. My man Wilt put up 100. I'm done.
Let's leave it at that, B. Austin. Let's leave it at that and move on. Let's just move on to the next topic. We'll put up 100 and we moving on. As simple as that. All-Star Weekend is upon us. We look forward to All-Star Weekend, not necessarily for the events, but after the All-Star Weekend is kind of when the games get good in the NBA, and the games have sucked this year. So with that being said, let's get some predictions. B. Austin, we got a bunch of events. I want to know, who are you predicting to win these events? We have the Rising Stars game.
The Rising Stars game is going to be the sophomore team winning. The Shooting Stars winning team. Yeah, they do. They don't do that. I'm going with team.
No. I'm saying they don't do rookie and sophomore. They just
mix it up.
It's Team Hill and Team Weber. Yeah, I got the teams for you. We're gonna do this real fast real fast. Team Grant Hill, Damian Lillard, who's in everything. Bradley Beal, Andre Drummond, Harrison Barnes, Terrence Jones, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jonas Valanciunas, Dion Waiters, and Miles Plumlee. Team Weber is Anthony Davis, Michael Carter-Williams, Tim Hardaway Jr., Trey Burke, Jared Sullinger, Mason Plumlee, Victor Oladipo, Steven Adams, and Kelly Olynyk. Who you got as your MVP of this game?
Team Weber, Victor Oladipo is the MVP. No, MCW, hometown. I'm hometown by
MCW. Jimmy and I, we actually did a court vision on this the other day, and didn't we pick the same person for this, Jimmy?
Yeah, we did. We definitely did.
It wasn't Lillard. We were scared to pick Lillard in anything because he had to be in every other.
Yeah.
We picked Dion Waiters.
We picked Waiters, man. Hometown PST, man. Because we know that once he gets in this game, he's going to not have his normal teammates arguing. He's going to let it loose. He's going to let it fly. Word to Mano. He's about to let it fly, So
he's going to do what he wants to do with Cleveland every week.
Every night.
Every night. So what's the next event?
The very next event would be the Shooting Stars. You have the participants in the Shooting Stars.
This is All-Star Saturday night, the first event of that. They're still doing that whole Eastern-Western Conference thing they tried to do last year. So Team 1 in the East is the Hardaways, Tim Hardaway Jr. and Tim Hardaway Sr., and they'll be playing with Elena Deladon from the Chicago Sky. Team 2, Chris Bosh and Dominique Wilkins and Swin Cash from the Chicago Sky, who I believe won this last year. The Western Conference
she can have it.
Has the Currys, Steph Curry, Del Curry, and Becky Hammond from the San Antonio Stars. Team 2,
Becky.
In the West, Kevin Durant, Karl Malone, and Skylar Diggins. Hi, Skylar. I actually took the Currys on this one, Steph, Del, and Becky Hammond. Who you got, B. Austin?
Yo, it's a game of shooting. I'm not picking against the Currys. Are you nuts? I got the Currys.
Well, as much as I would like to dig in Skylar, I have to. I'm choosing the Hardaways. I think this thing is. I think it's fixed. I think they're going to make it so the Currys have to face the Hardaways. Have a little father and son theme going on, and because the Currys should win, I think they won't, just because they should.
So Hardaways versus Currys. We'll see. Like I said, I would like to see the Durant team go far. So that's more camera time for Skylar Diggins. Hi, Skylar. What's the next joint, Jim?
All right, the next one would be the Skills Challenge.
All right, the Skills Challenge. The participants, Eastern and Western Conference. Again, 2 teams each conference. Team 1, you got, I got to say his name again, Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks, DeMar DeRozan from the Raptors. Team 2, Michael Carter-Williams from the Sixers and Victor Oladipo from the Magic. Western Conference, Team 1, Trey Burke, Utah Jazz, Damian Lillard of the Portland Trail Blazers. Team 2 in the West, Goran Dragic, Phoenix Suns, and Reggie Jackson of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Who you got in the Skills Challenge? B. Austin.
I'm taking,
I believe.
Okay, it'll be Austin.
Trey Burke.
Trey Burke.
Trey Burke.
I think I took Lillard on this.
Why would they put DeMar DeRozan? Why would they put DeMar DeRozan?
Yeah, Dev, you did take Lillard. You did take Lillard.
Yeah. And I actually, but, I'm just remembering that Lillard is the defending champion in this event. DeMar DeRozan, like is his handle good enough to be in this one?
He got better this year, but I still don't think it got better this year, but I don't know if it's good enough for this. Here's my thing. I'm taking Dragic and my man Reggie Jackson, who doesn't comb his hair, just because Dragic is that dude right now, and the league fears him, and Reggie Jackson is playing good ball, and he don't comb his hair, so I'm taking him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one.
You got B. Austin?
3. Yeah, B. Austin said whoever Trey Burke is on the team with.
Oh, okay, Trey Burke.
All right, next one is a 3-point contest. The participants in the 3-point contest are
Eastern Conference, Aaron Aflalo, Bradley Beal, Kyrie Irving, the defending champion, and Joe Johnson. Western Conference, you got Marco Bellinelli, Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard, again, who wants to do everything All-Star Weekend, and Kevin Love, a former champion in this contest. I'm actually going with Steph Curry. I'm going to take the easy pick on this one. We'll see if Steph wins.
I think that Steph Curry should win, but I'm going with the Los Angeles Lakers big man Kevin Love.
I'm gonna follow Jimmy and follow him with a flalo because I'm going to follow your logic, which is that Steph should run away with this by far, but he's going to shoot on rack number 3 and come down and twist his ankle in the first round. Something's going to happen. He's not going to win.
Damn.
He's not going to win.
I hope that's not the case because he does have to play in the All-Star game the next day.
This is true. Now, the one that everyone looks forward to, or at least they want us to believe everybody looks forward to this, is the Slam Dunk Contest.
All right, the Sprite Slam Dunk Contest. Eastern Conference, you got Paul George of the Pacers, Terrence Ross, defending champion of the Toronto Raptors, John Wall of the Washington Wizards. In the Western Conference, you got Harrison Barnes of the Warriors, Damian Lillard of the Portland Trail Blazers, Ben McLemore of the Sacramento Kings. I'm going with Ben McLemore, see what the young Bucks can go in there and do.
I took Harrison Barnes just because I think that Terrence Ross and Paul George Terrence Ross and Paul George are the favorites, and again, it's my logic that the favorites just don't normally win. So the one who will probably either go out first, or win the whole thing, will be my guy. I just feel like either he's going to be completely terrible, Harrison Barnes will be completely terrible, or he's got something up his sleeve.
Shout out to all of the gentlemen that decided to enter this. Paul George has tremendous body control and is kind of long paused. But if you ever look at Terrence Ross dunk, Terrence Ross does not look like he jumps. He doesn't look like he looks like he was dropped out of the sky. So I'm going with Terrence Ross just because my man can dunk with his navel. He can dunk with his navel.
I mean that's a good pick. That's a safe pick because he probably should.
There's no one that jumps higher than him in the league. It can't be. He doesn't even look right. It looks retarded. Can you imagine Raptors practices when DeMar DeRozan and Terrence Ross get to going at it? Like, that must be silly.
Yeah, that got to be dumb ignorant. And the last event of the weekend would be the All-Star Game. So I don't know whether you want to go over the rosters for the All-Star Game, but all I want to say is Damian Lillard.
Who's in it?
Damian Lillard is also an all-star, so I just want to say a special shout to Damian Lillard. This is your weekend to become a star because you have literally entered damn near every contest. So we're going to know who you are after this week, good brother.
This is Damian Lillard's Kyrie Irving weekend, and I bet you the Trailblazers pushed him. You know how people usually want their players to rest during All-Star weekend as much as they possibly can, even though he's in the game. The Trailblazers probably pushed him to get into all of these contests so he can market himself,
he represented by Nike?
Out there, and then more people. I mean, he's out there in Portland. He probably is. I mean, that's like Nike country out there. So, they probably set it up so everybody can dig him, and then they can start watching more Trailblazers games. So, shout out to
the machine is at work.
I'm gonna go with the easy pick on this. I think Kevin Durant is going to try to do everything he can to sweep this season. And the sweep, I mean MVP of the league. So why not throw an MVP of the All-Star game in there? Maybe he's going to get the scoring title. Maybe he can get an NBA title and get an MVP in the finals as well. So I'm going to go with Kevin Durant, to try to put a little something else on his resume for the season to try to get that sweep.
I'm going with Kevin Durant for the same exact reasons. And also his game is just suited for this because he's a wiry guy who can shoot the ball, so he's built for an All-Star game. So I'm going with Kevin Durant as well.
I'm going with Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry is going to show him how to Dougie out there. So
that's a good pick, though. I think he'll definitely try to show out as well. Yeah. Plus he's starting.
I just can't in my right mind pick a light-skinned guy to win MVP of any game.
I feel you. I understand completely.
With that being said,
where you're coming from.
With that being said, we have some topics to get to, but tell people how to get in touch with us.
Y'all can check out our website, warroomsports.com, to call in and speak to us about any of today's topics. just dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you would like to talk. So we're going to get into some hot topics because, like we said, it's been a crazy week, especially on the social topic tip. So, we're going to talk about some of the big stories of the week. Hopefully we can get some participation in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter, maybe a couple of calls to get your opinion on these things. So before we do that, Jimmy, tell everybody who Hot Topics is brought to them by.
Absolutely. The Hot Topics are brought to you by Audible. If your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, try audiobooks. Kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. Visit audibletrial.com/warroomsports, and you can get yourself a free audio book. As I mentioned earlier, I'm doing this Wilt Chamberlain book right now, and, to hear the history of the game from the greatest players is amazing. And there are several basketball biographies on Audible. You can get Magic, you can get Larry, you can get Dr. J, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell. Like, the list is endless. There are so many great sports books on here. So, step your knowledge of the game up and get a free one. I mean, who doesn't like free? Get a free book, audibletrial.com/warroomsports, and, let us know what you think if you get one of those books.
No doubt. So before we get into those bigger topics of the week, of course, we'd be remiss if we did a whole 2-hour show and not even acknowledge the fact that the Winter Olympics are going on. So right now, and we're having a lot of Sochi problems still, but got a little medal count for you guys here. I'm not going to go down every country in this joint, but, of course, everybody wants to know what the U.S. is doing, maybe Canada, and, of course, the host country, Russia.
Mother Russia.
Well, I'll just do the top 7 in the medal count right now. And those top 7 are Germany with 10 total medals, Canada with 10, Norway with 13, the Netherlands with 12, the United States with 12. Switzerland, why are they on the top? Skip them. Russia has 11. Now, as far as goals, Germany, with the 10, they have 7 golds. The next 4 have 4 golds apiece. So, Germany right now with their 10 medals, 7 golds, 2 silvers, and 1 bronze. I guess you can say they're doing the best so far in the Sochi Olympics.
Shout out to the fatherland.
There's still stories coming out. They have the Twitter hashtag and the Twitter handle, Sochi Problems. Did you guys hear about the whole thing where the hotel threatened to charge a journalist for placing his luggage on the second bed in his room? They left him a note that said, "Dear guest, please do not put your personal belongings on the second bed. Otherwise, we will have to give you a bill for the use of the second bed and bedding. Hotel administration." Are they serious? Are they serious? Yo, when you pay for a hotel room, you pay for the whole room. How are they going to charge him for laying his clothes on the other bed?
Tripping. Stalin is real.
And then we have the infamous photo of the bathroom door that U.S. skier Johnny Quinn had to actually smash through because after he took a shower, he realized that he was locked in his bathroom. And when you see the photo of the door, it looks like the door was made of cardboard or something. Like, what are they doing in Sochi? I hope Rio, for the Summer Olympics in 2016, are taking notes. You know what I'm saying? If they may have been slacking on construction and renovations and doing what they had to do to get ready for the Summer Olympics, I hope they're looking at Sochi and just want to avoid this embarrassment. I hope they're doing the right things with the money. I hope they're on schedule because we all know the Summer Olympics, frankly, are bigger than the Winter Olympics. So they can't, they have to show Sochi.
I have a feeling.
See, Rio can make up for it. They can just, if you got a bad room, they can just leave chicks in your room.
Rio's gonna win. Rio's gonna win no matter what.
Yeah, but
I hope
they're taking notes, man. Because Sochi has dropped the ball.
I don't even like mentioning Rio because anything I say is going to be inappropriate. So I'm just going to remain quiet.
I hate.
All right, well let's go to to the MLB for a minute. Y'all know A-Rod, like late last week, he actually dropped his lawsuit against Major League Baseball, the commissioner, and the Players Union. He was suing them, of course, because of he was trying to overturn his 211-game suspension and connected with the whole biogenesis thing. His attorney basically, confirmed the voluntary dismissal of the case, but he didn't give an explanation and said that everything was in the statement. But of course, we're not privy to the statement and whatever they said. A lot of people said that they think he was dropping the lawsuits for a lot of reasons, which was one of them was the $10 million in legal fees that he was going to have to pay. Not that A-Rod doesn't have $10 million, but like we always tell people, we count people's money because we know what they make. $10 million is still a lot of money no matter how much money you make, especially in a battle that you're probably not going to win. So why go and waste $10 million just to try to save face? And plus he's already losing $25 million in salary for next year. So there's a few more reasons, but why do you guys think he's dropping this lawsuit?
Can't win. I mean, he's already in a position where he's done so much that we know.
You can't win.
Oh. Yo, B. Austin says that he dropped it because he can't win, and I'm saying he dropped it because he already won. What's the point? Like, what's the point? A-Rod has won in life, and there's no point of discontinuing. Like, yo, just do what you got to do. You've already won.
Yeah, I heard that he also he doesn't want to get blackballed. Like, I heard, he may want to get into broadcasting after it's all said and done. And he doesn't want to be in like a Pete Rose situation because he tried to fight baseball tooth and nail over this whole thing. I think those reasons sound good, and they could have some legitimacy to them. But, like B. Austin said, this is a fight that you probably can't win, so why spend all of this money just basically to save face? And you can, and like Jimmy said, you already won. Why blow the money that you've already stolen from the league just so you can look like a better guy when those aren't going to be the results.
You're not a better guy.
A scumbag. You're going to come off as a scumbag either way. So if you do want to have a career in baseball after you finish with baseball, it probably is the best thing to do. Just take your punishment, come back, get your $25 million in next year. But what do you guys think about the captain, Jeter? He's calling it quits after 2014. Great career, Hall of Famer.
That's without question.
As I hate, as you know, being a Phillies fan, I hate dude, but I can't say that I.
Why
really
do you always say because you're a
respect.
Phillies fan? What the hell do the Phillies have to do with the Yankees?
Or I would say rivals, but we're not really
rivals.
I just hate them.
All right, that's a better answer, but it ain't got nothing to do with being.
I just hate them. But anyway,
you're a Red Sox fan, and I can see, but Philly fans, and you hate the Mets.
Yeah, stack up. I mess with.
Don't get mad at me because you don't know who to hate.
With Jeter,
fake baseball fan.
I like Jeter. I like Jeter. I think he's one of the gold standards bearers of the position that he played, and shout out to him, man. I mean, great career.
Yo, I think Jeter's an all-time great. He's an all-time great Yankee, all-time great baseball player. For what we know, he seems to be, a quote-unquote good guy. He's a definite Hall of Fame yam farmer, and there's really nothing bad you can say about Jeter. It's nothing bad you can say about Jeter other than that cheap-ass cologne he was trying to sell through Avon, which sucks. Besides that, class act, good dude, shout out to him. I want to see if he's treated like a king. Remember back in the day when cats used to retire and they announced their retirement before the season? So during the course of the season, every place would give him a video tribute or give him gifts and stuff like that. I want to see if that's done with Jeter. Like they did Dr. J everywhere he went. Shout out to him. I hope he has a great season. I hope it doesn't, he doesn't announce that and then goes out and gets injured or something, kind of like Mariano did. So,
I hope Jeter can just play out his last season and have a great one, and then roll off into the sunset. Finish farming his Yanks.
Yeah, it looks like that Yankees run. All the players from that Yankees run are like going away. Mariano and Jeter, and I wonder how Yankees fans feel about the team's future now.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we get into the Marcus Smart and the Michael Sam situation, real quick, fellas, because we talked a lot about this last week. Richie Incognito actually went on a Twitter tirade against Jonathan Martin. He actually said his name in a couple of tweets. The report is supposed to come out at the end of this week, so I'm not sure why Richie Incognito decided to do this before the report came out, but he sent a couple of tweets. Here's the series of them. Dear John Martin, the truth is going to bury you and your entire camp. You could have told the truth the entire time. John Martin, you started all of this when Kenny Zuckerman released the VM to ESPN, the same voicemail we joked about with @Brian Hartline. He said, fact, Jonathan Martin told me he thought about taking his own life in May 2013 because he wasn't playing well. Told me he felt worthless. Then he went and apologized to all that they offended on those texts that came out. See, I apologize to all of the women out there that I offended with my text messages to my close personal friend. And the last one, he said, I'm guilty of being a loyal friend and a good teammate. I apologize for my poor language and rude remarks. I've never denied it. So why do you guys think, like, this preemptive strike before the report comes out? Do you think the report will validate his claims?
I think the report is going to vindicate him, and I think that he's been holding a lot of this inside.
So he's just going to come out and...
Yeah. I think he's going to come out all guns blazing once this report comes out.
I agree with B. Austin. I think that he couldn't hold it any longer, Pauls, because he got railroaded. As B. Austin says, free Richie. We read the text messages, and it gives a complete different story than many people originally thought, including myself. Like I mean, I didn't know that he turned on his friend like this. I'm telling you, this is terrible, yo. This is like Tony killing Manolo. I told y'all, man, this is terrible, man. Like they were definitely close friends, and it was just like banter that you have with your close friend, and for him to like say he was being bullied and taken advantage of, it's sad, man.
Yo, Jimmy, Richie Incognito had to face the bullying movement. He had to face the Pink Mafia for this. He had to face black people for this. Like whole groups of people wanted to pick up the mantle. And shoot at Richie Incognito as the face of all that's evil and wrong with society based on what Jonathan Martin accused him of, which he didn't even do. Plus his own reputation.
And this is the thing, man. There's so many layers to this story, and there's so many things that can come from this. Like Richie Incognito, we know it wasn't considered a good guy before this, so it also goes to knowing your brand and knowing how things travel with you. Because now in a situation where you're not even in the wrong, because of your past, you're considered wrong anyway until being proven right, which is why
he never really got the benefit of the doubt from anybody in the story.
Exactly. And it's like when Kevin Durant was smoking verbal herbals. No one jumped. Everybody jumped to his defense because he has a reputation of being a good guy. So with Richie not having that reputation, it automatically was like, yeah, he did it. He bullied him. He did. But, it's sad, man. Like, Jonathan Martin, you are a scum.
He basically dragged this man through every movement going on in the United States right now.
Yeah, everybody shot at Richie, and the funny thing is, I don't think Jonathan Martin ever cares about playing in the NFL again. But his exit strategy, I don't think it'll work now because he's not going to get any money out of it.
Yeah. And the thing is, as close as they were, he has to feel some type way about this because, like, it's obvious that he cared about him too. Like, so you lost your best friend for what? Like, if you just don't want to play, just go away.
All right. Well, let's get into some more of the stories of a social nature that went on this past week. We all know about the story of the Oklahoma State basketball player Marcus Smart He got suspended 3 games for shoving a Texas Tech fan in the final seconds of that game Saturday. He flew out of bounds trying to block a shot. He said that the fan called him the N-word, and he got up, shoved him. You know, it's been going on. It was probably the biggest story in sports for a few days until the Michael Sam story took hold of the nation. But what do you guys think about this whole thing? Do you think 3 games is the right kind of suspension for this kind of thing? Do you think the fan deserves any, any punishment in this whole thing? What are your thoughts?
Both. I think it's a learning, and it's a teaching tool for Marcus Smart, and it's a learning experience. This is a 19-year-old kid who has to understand that the reality is people will sing that we are kumbaya in this country and that we're past racism and that we're post-racial. We're in a post-racial society, but the reality is that's not true. And we see cases of that every day, sometimes as large and as sensational as Trayvon Martin, sometimes as small as this situation with Smart. So he has to understand that when interacting with the fans, it can be ugly, it can be disrespectful. They can, take shots at your ethnicity, your manhood, your whatever, and you cannot react in that manner. Marcus Smart is good enough that he has the talent. He's going to take his talents to the next level. He's probably going to be a high first-round draft pick. He's going to make millions and millions of money. And so this is a teaching tool and a learning experience. I'm okay with him being suspended because he has to understand that that's what's going to come. And on social media, we've all been having these dialogues and conversations, and I'm going to break this thing down ethnically. So black people have said he was called a nigger, and so he has every right to shove this guy, punch him in the face, act like whatever. Okay. To my black brothers and sisters.
Act like what he wants you to be? What he supposedly called you?
Yeah. You're acting like on national TV what he has called you, and it plays into his hand. And so
allegedly.
I don't feel as though he was correct in his actions, but I'm also not a hypocrite because at 19, 20, 24, 25, maybe even 30, I would have done the exact same thing. So I'm not really condemning him as in he did the wrong thing, but he has to understand that there are consequences and repercussions for the action, the choice that he made and the action that he took. And if he's comfortable with that, then, he's learning about consequences and repercussions. To the white folks that I talked to who said in a lot of cases, well, we don't know whether he said nigger. If he said that word, then obviously, Marcus Smart was in the right, whatever, yada, 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 but we don't know. And so you can't act like that with the fans, and it's terrible, and he was acting out of sorts, and he deserves to be suspended for the rest of eternity and should be docked his pay, as if college players get paid. To those folks, I say, you can't relate to being called a nigger or what that word means or the fact that this man has a reputation and a history of interacting with players in this manner and saying racially incendiary things. And so I would say, again, being a black man, at Marcus Smart's age, I probably would have reacted exactly the same. No, I would have punched him. So I wouldn't have shoved him. So I give Marcus Smart kudos for not doing something that really, truly caused any physical or bodily harm. But I'm not really mad at the young man for the action that he took. I just want him to understand that there are consequences and repercussions, and society is going to hold you to a different standard.
One thing, be awesome, like what you just said about, the guy, first of all, his name is Jeff Orr. He's a Texas Tech fan, loyal fan. Ex-players did come out and say, when they used to play there, he used to say some crazy things, but that's kind of as far as they took it. Like even John Lucas III said, even when I was in school, he used to say some crazy things. They never actually said that he said racist things. They said he just said crazy things to college students. Could this possibly be a situation where our people sometimes have the knack to kind of quote unquote cry
pull the
wolf.
race card.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying, well, how could that be? You know, that would be real calculating if he got up and did it and then thought about it later to say, well, let me say he called me the N-word. But I don't think you have to calculate that at all because we all know that we have that in our back pocket. I don't know if you guys recall, because, you know, we text and we text about everything when it happens in sports. Do you guys recall, as soon as Jimmy showed us that story, the first thing I said to you guys was like, uh-oh, he better say the dude called him the N-word. And, you know, we found out that's actually what he said. So it's like, it didn't take me any time to calculate that. I was just saying that if it didn't happen, that better be the excuse you use. So do you guys think that there's any way that could be what he's doing? Yeah, like we have that in our back pocket. So do you guys think that there's any chance that he's just using that now? Because the guy claims he called him a piece of crap. I'm thinking even if the Jeff Orr guy is telling the truth, I'm pretty sure crap will probably be replaced with like shit or something like that.
I was thinking the same thing,
but,
like, yo,
yeah,
first
like,
off, who calls anybody a piece of crap? I've never heard, yo, I'm an old ass man. I ain't never heard nobody call anybody walking this earth a piece of crap.
You might have called him a piece of shit, but not a piece of crap. So that's what I ask you guys. Do you think there's any chance here that Marcus Smart pulled the card? Just to try to lessen the blow.
Is there any chance Marcus Smart got smart? Did he get smart?
Well, here's the thing. There may be a chance. Of course, there's a chance. We don't know what anybody said, but the fact of the matter is, you got this other grown-ass man who's sitting out there screaming at teenagers. So I'm liable to take Marcus Smart's side before this pedophilic-looking dude who's out there yelling at teenagers like, yo, where's your life at, B? That you spend your time sitting on the sidelines, like, cussing and carrying on with teenagers, man. Like, yo, step your life up.
He does resemble Sandusky.
Yo, he's very
but you guys know we talked about fanatics earlier in the show, man. Whether it's pro, college, whatever they do, man. You know,
like,
some people don't look at it that way. They just look at, I'm this big of a fan. You know, I spend this kind of money following this team around. Fans have come, professional, collegiate, anywhere. Fans have come to a point where they think they spend their money. They can go to a game and act their ass and do whatever they want to do. And for some things, it may be right, but sometimes people cross that line, that fine line that shouldn't be crossed, like the Ron Artest guy. Say what you want about Ron Artest, but
you
threw a beer on the dude while he was minding his business.
Threw a beer on him.
And you know, y'all upset that this man ran into the crowd? Like, seriously? But I just wanted to ask you guys to see if maybe he was...
Yeah, these dudes gotta like cut that out, man. They're like Robert De Niro. They're like Robert De Niro and a fan, yo. All right, Bobby, let's go, Bobby. Like, carrying on, man. Like, it's out of control. But hold on, be Austin. Let me just speak on the whole incident. You stole damn near every point I was going to make, and like you mentioned in the beginning of the show, that's the problem with not going first. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to Myris. But thing is this, right?
Stole all my moves,
Thing is this, though. It's a sad situation. It is a teaching situation. I also agree with you that I probably would have reacted different, so I don't want to be a hypocrite. I probably would have, caused the whole, melee, sort of like in Detroit. But, he's learning about consequences, and you have to understand the world we live in, and you also have to understand your brand and what you have to protect. We just talked about the whole Richie Incognito thing and, sort of getting the benefit of the doubt. What's going to happen with Marcus Smart is he's going to have this travel with him the rest of his career. I don't know whether it will affect him draft night. Probably won't, because you pay people to get buckets, and he can get buckets, so he'll still get drafted. But that stigma is going to be with him. We call people. Look at the stigma that's with Des Bryant or any athlete that's had any sort of incident. Randy Moss dropped in the draft, just for smoking trees. So he's going to have this stuck with him for the rest of his career. So it's also a teaching lesson about that as well, about having a brand, protecting a brand, and also knowing that it's bigger than that one moment. Because like Dev said, you're going to act like what he called you, for one, and for two, you have a lot more to lose than a dude that's a middle-aged man that's screaming at teenagers. His life is obviously terrible. So you have more to lose. So, and it's sort of like the decisions that we make when we're teenagers. We've been in a lot of stuff, whether it's fighting or just doing stupid things. But now as an adult, when you have more to protect, you have to, I haven't been in a fight in a year. I can't imagine fighting these days because I have so much to protect, You know what I mean? Family, career, things like that. So you have to think about that. And this is something that he's going to have to learn from this. So hopefully, it is something that he learns and he doesn't make any decisions like this in the future because, he has a lot more to lose than that gentleman.
Right, the timing was terrible, too, because Marcus Smart was just in the news a few days before that, and they weren't painting a great picture of him because he was he's getting a reputation as a flopper. And he was basically saying that, everybody does it, to try to get an advantage, and then he also mentioned the officiating being inconsistent. So they've already had him interviewed, and whether, you misquote him or whatever you do, they've started to paint the picture that he was kind of a problem child. You know what I'm saying? He's already he's just in college and he's out in the media talking about the officiating and he's flopping and doing all of this kind of stuff. So the timing couldn't be worse.
And this made me think about a couple of things. Another thing that I thought about with this whole Marcus Smart situation is, Marcus Smart came back just to try to play in the March Madness. He could have been a lottery pick last year, but he decided to come back to school to give it another run in a tournament. And it's kind of backfired. And you see this happen a lot. We always talk about he should come back and get better. Though there's negatives to that sometimes from a business standpoint. Because now
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm saying his reputation is going to be tarnished. He's going to be like Matt Leinart now. Coming back will be like a bad decision for him at this point because that's going to, like Dev said, they're already painting a bad picture of him. You add this on top of it. I wonder, will it affect him on draft night? I don't think it will, but I wonder.
That's the thing. And Bielsa, you can actually finish us up. You can take us out of this, but I'm gonna just read this quote from him, and just what Jimmy just talked about. That's been the big argument since it happened, whether or not it's gonna mess up his draft stock. And of course, they always talk to anonymous NBA executives. Some said it'll most likely mess up his draft stock. Some said that it won't. So we'll see how that plays out because we all know every time something like this happens, it only takes one team. If everybody else is going to pass on you, if one of those early teams decide, hell, I'm not going to pass, then none of that means anything. But he made an apology, and he said, and I'm going to ask Bielsa about this, and then he can make his point, and then we can be done with this and move on to the next thing. But he said, I just want to really apologize to those that are very important to me. I feel like I let my teammates down. These guys mean a lot to me. Not to be able to be out there with them hits me in the heart. I have a lot of people that look up to me, little kids. I truly apologize. This is not me. And he even said, I want to apologize to the fan, Jeff Orr. Now, I'm wondering, if this really happened and he really called you an N-word, I know you're trying to, fix your brand. You're trying to repair your brand, do damage control or whatever. But if he really called you that, I don't see why that's necessary. You can apologize to the fans, the team, the coaches, whoever you need, the other fans. But I don't think that a personal apology to this guy would be necessary if he really did what you said that he did. So you can speak on that and then make your point. We can get to the next.
That apology is contrived. Damage control. I'm not mad at it in the sense that it is the right thing to do.
Me either. I'm just mad that he included Dude.
But including Dude, if he said what you said that he said, then I don't necessarily think that you were completely in the wrong for what you did. So why would you apologize to him if he called you a nigger? That doesn't make sense to me, which gives some credence to the fact that maybe Marcus Smart is playing the race card, understanding that he stepped in a pile of dookie and stepped in a pile of crap. And so that bothers me. If he did that, then honestly, the way I feel is you take your lumps. The consequences are you got, suspended 3 games, but that's worth it.
Apologize to everybody else.
I'll apologize to my teammates, my coach, my fan base, the kids that look up to me, but I'm not apologizing to you as a man because really I think the altercation was justified. It just shouldn't have been in that forum, or that, in front of many people. I might have waited till after the game and seen what section he was in, and, then I said that we could have had a conversation. But
they could have had a Honey Nut Cheerios talk. They could have had a Honey Nut Cherry.
Apologies are overrated.
Sports, yeah, they are.
Maybe you say like,
he's just trying to get
past it for his apology, but I'm not going to apologize to that guy.
Yeah, he just said that he apologized to him because he just wants this whole thing to be over with. He wants to act like it never happened.
Right.
So I'm just going to apologize to everybody, and hopefully they'll stop talking about it. And because of this next story, people did kind of stop talking about it because
they would have known mine was calculated. Yeah, I would have think everybody on this planet except for Duke. I mean, I would apologize to everybody on the planet except for Duke.
Yeah, I might have. I might have stepped at the podium and not apologized and said I'm not apologizing to Jeff Orr because I don't feel his actions and my response warrant an apology directly to him. I'm just going to apologize to everyone else. But my point.
Yeah, but you know what? Then that becomes the story. Then that becomes the story. That becomes the story. So what you do is you just say it, even though you don't mean it anyway. You just get out the way.
Yeah, I'm a little different. So I'd have been cool with that. But I think that us as members of the media and African American males and what we've been through in our lives, I think we're speaking more. Or I know myself. I'm speaking more to Marcus Smart as a brother, and he should be listening to the podcast, WarRoomSports.com. I don't have a problem really with all of this, and it really bothers me, as it usually does, the general public's condemnation of this young man, because I had to ask people, white, black, Asian, brown, from Mars, from Jupiter, when you were 19 and someone did something extremely disrespectful to you, your response was to turn the other cheek and walk away, honestly.
When I was 19, you didn't even have to call me nigga. You could have called me,
he could have done anything.
You could have called you a piece of crap.
I really had
at that age, most dudes, you look at them wrong, it's a problem. So you didn't have to call them nothing.
I had a problem with people condemning this kid who's 19 years old as if this wouldn't have been their response. Well, maybe they're cowards. So maybe those.
Let's take this. Let's take the rest of this to War Room Sports TV. We'll talk about that, and we'll let you guys know where you can find that link. We're going to finish that because we only have a few minutes left, and we have another story that was just as big, if not bigger, on Sunday, and we're probably going to have to take this from the War Room Sports TV as well at the end because 14 minutes isn't enough for us to say everything we're going to say on this. But on Sunday, Missouri linebacker Michael Sam, NFL prospect, he came out and said that he was gay. Now, a lot of people are still, living in an alternate world, and they wonder why it's necessary for people to come out. I kind of step out of my own box for a minute, and you have to realize, like, okay, homosexuality is not the norm in society. So we wonder why people, have the need to have to, quote, unquote, come out. That is something like you have to come out to your parents. You're going to have to tell them. You're not just going to go to Thanksgiving and your mom's going to come down the steps and you hugged up on the couch with a dude. So that's a conversation that needs to be had. In the sports world, we know that, the whole macho culture of sports, especially football, it's a place where an announcement might be needed because a lot of those guys are not going to want to get caught off guard with the whole thing. However, as much congrats as these guys get for coming out, I don't know if he would have done it without the pressures. People think that he just made this decision, but the fact of the matter is, the reality is there were rumors going around the Senior Bowl last week, and they were saying stuff about him like little things in his scouting report, like he may have some problems off the field. Because we know his teammates and, his coaching staff, everybody knew. So I'm pretty sure, even though it didn't leak to the media, that it leaked to some outlets. So that was the rumor going around, and I think he basically just tried to get in front of the story because you want to kind of control your own story. You don't want to just come out there and everybody get caught off guard. So he took it upon himself to do that. My question to you fellas, is the NFL ready for a gay player? That's been the conversation all week with NFL players, execs, coaches, everybody. B. Austin, why do you think the NFL is not ready for a gay player yet?
Because we're still not having honest conversations about sexuality and about things of this nature in society. I think that we've come to a place where, because there's constant coverage with social media and everybody's a reporter, I think everybody is now on edge about being sincere and honest with what their feelings are because they fear the repercussions of being honest and genuine. So the locker room is one of the last few places where men who play a sport and give their lives to that sport are honest with one another. And so perhaps the honesty level that Sam is bringing to the table is a good thing, but these guys a lot of times do come from a macho background. They do come from a place where homosexuality isn't something that they deal with. And the locker room, to be quite honest, isn't a place where sexuality really should even come into play, at least not yours. And so with this decision, he's made himself and his sexuality bigger than the team, bigger than his teammates, bigger than the sport. And so it's never going to be about his team, the game, or his sport. It's going to be about who he's sleeping with. And that's going to be, it diminishes everything else around it. And that's what he's going to be judged by. And so, no, I don't think the NFL is ready for it. I don't think it was done right. I don't think that coming out, quote unquote, is the right approach because it's really no one's business who you sleep with. No one should violate your human rights based on it. It shouldn't be an issue. I know it is, but because we're in a disingenuous society, people aren't ready for that. So
some of the
Kerry Rhodes can't get a job. Kerry Rhodes is an all-pro safety, and he can't get a job.
And that's just all.
But here's my thing, real quick though. We have a call to get to, but before we get to the call, I just want to say, first off, shout out to Aaron Rodgers. Second of all, I want to say that you said that we're not having the honest conversation, but the fact of the matter is, by him doing that, it gets us closer to having that conversation. So, you know, that's one of the reasons why people applaud him for coming out, because it gets us closer to actually having that conversation. Let's get to the call real quick. We got Kwame on the line calling in from South Jersey. What's going on, Kwame? How are you?
I'm good, fellas. What's happening? I wanted to call and talk about Marcus Smart, but you got me on with Sam, and I got a whole litany of issues to talk about with him, man. You know, you made a comment about.
Make it 2 quick points. Make it 2 quick points about Smart, and then the last issue.
I think this is going to play well for Smart. He gets this because he came back and things weren't going the way they wanted to. They started out well, then it went downhill a little bit. He gets a chance to get a break. I think he's a good young player, and he'll get an opportunity to kind of rise like the Phoenix. He'll be the Goodwill story. Everybody will say how he overcame a difficult situation in the middle of the year to come back and lead the team.
Good
so
point.
If he plays it right, it'll actually work for him. It'll work real well for him. Now with Sam, I missed the brother's name that said it, but he everybody's a journalist, everybody's a reporter right now. So he had to admit it publicly. He had to be. I think that certain cities can handle an openly gay player. When you say openly, that means every gay topic that comes out, he's going to have to be the face for it. He's going to have to speak on everything. So I think certain cities and certain teams can handle it. Philadelphia is not one of those cities.
That's a great point. That's a great point. That's a very good point.
So, that's what you have to keep in mind when you say open, because there have been gay athletes. We all know someone that's gay that they may not wear the T-shirt that I'm gay and I'm here, but we all know that they're gay. But when you talk about openly gay, there's other issues that come with it. He goes 3 games without a sack, and a young teen in Nebraska gets beat up for being gay. They're going to bring that team down to that team's practice, and he's going to, that team is going to be around those players, and they're going to have to talk about what it's like to talk about human rights and all those things. That's what's going to be going on when you draft this young man. Certain teams aren't equipped to handle that, and Philadelphia is number 1 on that list. So, to me, you got to look at the team and the structure of the players there. If you have guys that, are not concerned about the other player as far as is he a good teammate, then they'll be fine. But when you have guys that want to run out and attend concerts and speak their minds freely when they get liquored up, and you have organizations that don't have diversity, and the front organization, as far as the front office, it's hard pressed for me to believe that you're going to bring in an openly gay player and everything's going to be well. And there's so many other issues with that, but I want to take up your time.
Great points, man. That is a great point. Distinguishing the difference in the market that these teams play in. That's huge. Go ahead. Sorry, Deb.
No, I was going to say, Kwame, before we get you off the line, because I'm pretty sure your points probably piqued the interest of a lot of our fans. So let them know where they can hear you on the radio so, they can tune in and maybe call in and rap.
I appreciate that, fam. Sundays, 97.5 The Fanatic, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. But I really did just want to get on and talk about that because I feel like you guys have an open forum where any point can be discussed. And that's why I wanted to get in. I should have called in earlier, man. Kids' bath time got a hold of me.
Kwame, man. Yo, great point,
man.
We appreciate the support and everything.
We can get you on the episode and we can just talk about it for as long as we want.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Y'all know how to get in touch with me, man. Anytime.
All right, man. Take it easy, Kwame. We appreciate it.
All right, fellas.
Yeah. That's the homie Kwame from 97.5 The Fanatic, man.
No doubt. And B. Austin, some of the points that you made before Kwame called in, I was reading an article where the Giants cornerback Terrell Thomas was kind of saying, some of the same type of stuff. He was saying, and I agree with most of his comments, so that's basically why I'm reading them, but he said, I think society is ready for a gay player, of course. America's ready for, homosexuality openly, but he doesn't think that the NFL is. And one of the points that B. Austin mentioned that he mentioned, and, coming from somebody that's in the locker room, we can point as not as gospel, but it's a solid point. He said the attention on him, is going to bring a lot of attention to the team, and that attention is unwanted attention. And he even referenced the Richie Incognito thing. He was like, those guys had a situation basically between two people. The story got really big. The Dolphins were in the news the whole time, but he was like, even here, we were getting questions about that nonstop, and it's not even our team. So he said, imagine, you put that a team drafts a homosexual, openly gay player, and, all the questions that he's going to get every week, the team, and then the same question that I just asked you guys to start this conversation, is the league ready for a gay player? How many players around the entire league are going to get that question every time they step into, a camera and a microphone?
I agree with that, Bev, but here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about, like, sports in general. Like, it has to happen eventually. I mean, we probably could have had this, and I hate this comparison. I really do, because it's really not a comparison when you start talking about race versus sexual preference. No, but my point is this, though. I could imagine this conversation happening when they were saying, who wants to get a black player? Because now we have to answer questions about having a black teammate and who wants to deal with that. The fact of the matter is, eventually it had to happen. Eventually this has to happen.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree with that. I'm just saying, because my question is, remember, the question wasn't, are we ready for it? The question was, is the NFL ready for it? And I don't think they're ready for it.
Well, considering one of the stories I read said that
it definitely has to happen.
He was ranked like 90 or something in terms of players coming out of college football, like 90th overall player. And like once he made his announcement, he dropped to like 160 or something. So I think that speaks volumes about the league in general. But it's just like, eventually it has to happen, man.
There's some insight on that, and that
we ain't got that much time.
Him dropping wasn't just due to him coming out of the closet. He's a hand in the ground 4'3" defensive end who's listed at 6'3" and is playing under 260. So they're trying to project him as a stand-up 4'3" linebacker and in space. And they're saying at the Senior Bowl or whatever All-Star game he played in, he couldn't cover his sister with a blanket. So he can't play in space. So they're kind of questioning that. But obviously him coming out had something to do with the drop. But he's undersized.
No, but that's the only thing that happened. They knew all the things you were talking about before, though.
Even if it was the thing, even if it was more on the field type things, it still seemed a little, because it was Sunday that he made the announcement. It was Monday that his ranking dropped by almost 70 players. So, I can believe that. I mean, because the Senior Bowl, it was going on at that time. That was when everything went down. But it's difficult for me to believe that they're going to make that big of an evaluation from one game when they've watched this man play for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I definitely, like Jimmy said, the conversation has to be had, and it had to happen at some point. But even now, we still have,
this is still an iffy situation because we know how Jason Collins, he waited to do it, and he was basically probably trying to get somebody to take a chance on him by coming out, trying to use that card to maybe get some extra time in the league. This guy hasn't been drafted yet. So if indeed the NFL is not ready and his draft stock slips or even slips to the point where he doesn't get drafted, or if he gets drafted and all of a sudden all of his problems, like B. Austin said, are under the microscope, and plus they're going to be thinking, well, can he do this with the distractions? He might not be as valuable to teams as he once was, so he might not end up being that guy that's in the league. So I still think, until this one plays out, we're going to have to see. We might need like a big superstar to come out while he's in his prime, to really have the conversation. But we're out of time, so we're going to take it to War Room Sports TV. We'll let you guys know when we drop a video on it. Jimmy.
Yeah, man. It's time for us to get out of here, man. Thanks for everybody for joining us in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Those who hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, and also the callers that we've had. We got to a couple of you. A lot of you we didn't get to. We apologize. But tune in next week. Same time, same place for some more great sports talk. We'll take you all around the world of sports once again and discuss the second half stretch of the NBA season. So until then, enjoy your week, and we'll see you right back here next time. Check out our conversations on social media, Facebook and Twitter at War Room Sports, and all of our video content, WarRoomSportsTV.com. Check us out on Google+, google.com/plus War Room Sports. And until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on top.
Stay in tune to Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Des, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop dollars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dez, TJ, Jack Beck, B. Austin. I'm Jack. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.
Kuwait is the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified.